Hello. It is 12:17 on Friday night, Saturday morning, which means the transfer window has closed for Nottingham Forest, the rest of the Premier League. So the Reds have signed James Ward-Prowse on loan and Morata from Benfica, central defender, for about 15 million quid. No striker incoming. I'm pretty sure we can say that now, unless there's any incredible surprises. Josh Bowler has left for Preston on loan for the rest of the season, but he's out of contract in the summer, so that's probably him done for us. And Alex Mighten has joined San Diego, who will be an MLS team in the upcoming season for them on a permanent deal. Matt Turner, we were expecting to go to Crystal Palace, might still happen, waiting to see if that was completed in time, but hasn't been announced yet. So those are the kind of the headlines from deadline day. We discussed it in full for over 2 hours. If you joined us for that, then thank you very much. Appreciate your company. Loads of people, it's like 900 at one point, which is great. What follows in the next 35 minutes is the final part of that live stream, the final 35 minutes, like I say. So if you watched it, then you don't need to watch this. But it's kind of a summation of the window, what Forest did overall, and where we're at now, and looking to the season ahead. I think there's a bit of wider Premier League chat as well, but we just kind of take stock of everything. It's myself, Lewis, Temps, and Simon Fotheringham, who earlier reported live from the City Ground, which was funny. But yeah, a good chat, taking stock. So check it out, see what you think. Let us know in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. And then otherwise, we shall hopefully see you for the Wolves post-match show. But in the meantime, here we go. As we kind of sum up our feelings on the whole window, Fothers, if you rewind the clock to June, July time, what might have happened, what has happened? Simon Fotheringham, how are you feeling about this whole window?
I'm happy. I'm happy. I think it's good. We keep banging on about a striker, don't we? And I think like Temp said, it's time to move on. And we are so far ahead of where we were 12 months ago, where we were 24 months ago, and where we were when Lyle Taylor was nodding it in with crosses from Guy Tang Bong. So yeah, you've got to be positive, haven't you? And I just think that the strength in depth we've got now, there seems to have been a shift in this transfer window of quality over quantity, and I say that with what we got left, 14 minutes. So that could all change in the next 14 minutes. But I'd like to think that we probably are done. We don't like that Stella signing, wouldn't we? We all want Jesse Lingard back, but that's not going to happen. So yeah, I think it's great. I think when we're signing players like James Ward-Prowse, feel like we've arrived where everybody wants us to be. And what more can you say? I've just seen Eddie Nketiah signed for Crystal Palace. That's probably the only one that's maybe I'm disappointed about, because I would love to have seen him, because he just offers something a little bit different to Wood and Taiwo. So that's probably my only disappointment. But I think bring on Wolves tomorrow. Let's go.
Michael Temple with us as well. Thoughts on the window as a whole, but also what Father says there around the shift in recruitment strategy. It does feel very different this window, but also I'd probably throw January into it as well, when we signed Rayner, Sells, and whoever. We signed 3 players. I can't remember the other one. There feels like there's been a shift. What's your thoughts on that in general, and where we're at 10:47 on deadline day?
Far more considered window, far more hits than misses last time out. Does paint that picture, doesn't it, of more considered recruitment and less of a need to take risks, and therefore more of the type of player that we know is going to improve the squad, willing to come in. I put James Ward-Prowse firmly in that bracket. I put Elliot Anderson firmly in that bracket. Matt Sells was a big impact too, but I'll say it again, the most important thing was retaining the spine of his team and having the type of continuity that allowed us to start the season with 11 players who'd previously represented the club. We couldn't have said that before. There were so many chops and changes. There was such, out of necessity, new players being blooded in that side. Hasn't been the case this year. Could have maintained our standing with that 11. We're kicking on with these signings that we've made. So I'm particularly grateful, and just hope that we see the best of Murillo and Gibbs-White this year, and they can help to kick us on to something like 10 to 12 more points than we had last season. That will represent progress. That'll be great for this club. That'll entice another tier of player to come in the future. And that, I hope in 3 years' time, we're reflecting on even further progress as we look to climb the Premier League. Really tough division, right? It sounds like such a ridiculous thing to say. But what we've learned from that breathless opener back at the City Ground 2 years ago, every game in between and where we are now, no one gives you everything. You have to scrap for absolutely every point that you earn. And I don't think there's anyone out there can tell me that we're not a better side now than we were at this point last year. 2 good windows, happy where we're at, confident we're going to finish 14th or above.
Just people who are listening on audio, not watching, a slight echo on Temps, obviously, sorry about that, but he'll be back on his normal, back in his office next week, I guess. So no problems on that front, but apologies. As I said, Morata was signed for Forest, 5-year deal, summer of 2029. Squad number 4, which I think was Joe Worrell's number, I think he's taken that on. Palace have signed Eddie Nketiah, 25 million rising to 30 million, and it looks like that's going to free up Odsonne Edouard to join Leicester City as their new striker late in the window, which is interesting, because they're going to be struggling at the bottom of the table. Lewis, we touched on it a bit, and you've been very kindly with us for almost 2 hours now. What are your reflections on the shift in transfer policy, the window, not getting Nketiah, not getting a striker? Is that the one negative? Was there something else you would have liked to have seen us do?
Yeah, I think if we look at it as a whole, since we've been back in the Premier League, I think we can all agree that we've, as a club, we've probably made mistakes on the recruitment side, and luckily enough, in them 2 seasons, it's not cost us in terms of our status in the Premier League. But we all make mistakes. It's can you learn from them? And I think as a football club and as a recruitment strategy, you can clearly see that we've learned from their mistakes. And I think that what we've done, we've brought in quality, we've brought in areas that we feel we need. I think the manager has had the summer, the pre-season to shape this squad. I think we've had a great start, and hopefully we can then go and kind of continue that tomorrow, which takes into the international break. And I think it's a point now is that we're always looking for that negative, or we're probably always looking for that we're waiting for something probably to happen, or that could go wrong, that can go wrong. I think we've just got to sit here now and think, yes, we wanted a striker. Yes, I feel like we needed a striker, but it looks like it's not going to happen. The club have done the best to bring in other areas. We've had a really good start. The manager is confident in what he's got in the building. You go around the club in the first game, I think there's a massive feel-good factor. I feel like we now belong in the Premier League. I feel like we now, across the board, feel like we're a Premier League club. And it's now a chance now to really kick on now. And as Temp said, move into that next place, which is 14th, 13th, 12th, that next area. And I think we've just got to be positive now. We've got to turn up tomorrow. Real good feel factor. Again, like the crowd and the atmosphere has been against Bournemouth, against Newcastle. But I think we've put everything in place now, and now we've just got to sit back and enjoy the ride, if that makes sense. We've just got to enjoy it. We've sat here, you lot a lot longer than me, and we've been in negative places, and we've always looked at the negative side and things that haven't been done. I think we've got to be really happy and thankful that this special football club is in a place that it hasn't been for a very long time, and we now have just got to enjoy it. We're going to have ups and downs. There's going to be points where we feel like, oh, maybe if we don't get a striker, it might cost us. But the reality is, this is where we are now. And we've got to trust the manager, trust the players, and trust the owner and the football club, and do our part, which is support every single game.
Over 900 people watching as we approach the 2-hour mark, which is great, fantastic to see. I agree with pretty much everything that's been said. Well, I agree with everything that's been said. I think just keeping Murillo and Gibbs-White was something I didn't foresee happening, and I think that's massive. And it goes back to the start, but it's kind of, to me, the headline news from the whole window. If we go back, there was a lot of talk of Hudson-Odoi going for big money, Elanga going for big money. In the end, I think we're grateful to Leon, if I'm honest. If we go forward 12 months, there probably won't be another Leon, because we look like we've mugged them off, to be honest, for some of those fees. So I don't know if that happens again. So take the win there and be grateful. But overall, really positive. Would have loved to.
Matt, sorry to interrupt. One of my mates is a Newcastle season ticket holder, and he's not particularly pleased either. He thinks he's been mugged off with some Greek goalkeeper and Elliot Anderson coming to Nottingham.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
I think he's probably right as well.
Yeah, no, that's right. We're getting Vlachodimos there as well. I mean, yeah, can we do those deals again in 12 months? Who knows? But you can't complain about what's happened. I don't think the business has been more considered than probably any point since we got. Oh my gosh, where am I going back to? I don't know. More considered than anything I can remember for a really long time. Getting in like Elliot Anderson, Sosa looks smart business, hopefully. Jota, hopefully. There's a few hopefullys because we had to take punts around fees and pedigree. But that's the market we're swimming in, and I think hopefully we've done smart business. Ward-Prowse on loan, I think, is sensible. Would have been the silver lining to get a striker. It is a gamble not having one in. It would have been a gamble on probably whoever we signed. But hopefully Wood and Taiwo are enough. Like I said earlier, like a lot of clubs just go with one or two strikers. Obviously, I mentioned like Haaland's an extreme example at Man City, but they haven't replaced Alvarez. So they're going with one striker. Other clubs have two. Looks like we've got two with Jota Silva as the backup, but I feel pretty confident. I'll just put a graphic up. It's pretty crude. I nicked it from a WhatsApp chat I'm in, but it just it has a bit of a sense of squad depth when you look at it there. Temps. I mean, 2 players for every position, which is a big thing. 2 good players for every position, hopefully. Morata is young, but he looks good, and everywhere else looks okay to me. What about you?
I'm just looking at the players in that first 11 there. There's no one I'm seeing that we haven't added value to, and that's what we have to do. We've kind of proven really that it's just beyond us still to drop 30-35 million pounds on a striker, but we've pulled Chris Wood out of nowhere, and he's proved more than adept for now. He's not the answer for next season. I suspect this is probably his last year with us before that contract elapses. But how much value have we added to Elanga, Hudson-Odoi? How much value have we added to Nico Williams, Olorena, Murillo? It's just so refreshing to see that players can now come to Forest and they're either going to get their move or be part of a progressive football club. I don't think beforehand it was that. I think there's so many players came and went that weren't part of this. And where the recruitment really started was the loan window in the Championship, wasn't it? The use of the loan market in the Championship to get the likes of, I'm thinking back to Jed Spence and 3 or 4 others who just transformed that side from where it was and started this journey. But I look at that now, and there's not a player in those 22 that I'd be particularly concerned about. Jury's still out on the second keeper, I think it's fair to say. Morera, as you've said, he's played for St. Pauli, looks the part, but a bit young and raw. Dominguez has to find his role in this side because he's not a replacement out wide. I think Ward-Prowse has blocked his route to getting 25 plus games this year, so that one could develop. Excited by Jota and Sosa, but they could still be anything at Premier League level consistently. So interested to see how they fare with their minutes from the bench. And Taiwo has to target getting past Chris Wood because the best of him is right up there, but he's had some chronic injuries, and the guy he's battling with has found immense form. So, 1 or 2 question marks. Just so many players there that we've added value to. Whatever motivates them is fine by me. If it's success with Forest or getting dragged out for massive profit, that's the game we're in. Proud of that squad. I think they can do the business.
I feel like Lewis has given us so much time and patience and everything, but I'm going to ask him about the goalkeeper. There was loads of chat around Kelleher. People must have seen the absolutely insane offer where we offered Matt Turner in part exchange. They couldn't believe they didn't take it. It's probably didn't ring up and say, "Oh, have you heard of Wangi Joe, lads? We think he'd be perfect for you." But we didn't get Kelleher. We've got Matt Sells. We've got Carlos Miguel. I mean, I think that's fine, to be honest. What you've always said, Lewis, that you don't see any particular reason to replace Sells. So I take it you've got no reservations now that we didn't get Kelleher or Ramsdale or Sam Johnston.
No, and I think I've stated before. I think that Sells came in at a time and he calmed everything down, and I think that he, towards the end of the season, along with a few other fees, really helped us to kind of stay in the league. And I think that he has earned the right to be the number one. But I think the biggest thing, from my point of view, in not bringing another keeper, I think that we've had such chaos around the goalkeeper situation for too long. And I think we just need to calm it down, and we just need to allow these goalkeepers to come in, whoever's number one, whoever's number two, and just let them be a goalkeeper. And I think until something happens, just leave it at that. I think we've had, it's just been so up and down. There's always a keeper story, new keeper coming in. And I just think to add another keeper to this situation when we've done so well in the window, I just think there's just no need to do it at this stage. So hopefully it looks like it. I'm glad that's what we're going with. I think Miguel the other night, again, the first goal, I know Sky, I think that was quite harsh. I think as a goalkeeper, I think it was a good shot. I think there's only certain places where you can parry that. Sometimes that goes into the striker's path. So I think that was harsh on the first goal. I think the size of him is just incredible in the point of he's a big boy. So again, I think he can provide that backup, and I'm very happy with them too. And let's just calm that area down, and let's look forward to tomorrow and look forward to the season itself.
Yeah, I think so. There's a couple of other bits of late news. It's 11 o'clock, by the way. The window has slammed shut in terms of cliches. Fabrizio Romano, Reece Nelson, and Mando Breuer tips, which are both off. That's a shame for them. That would have made a real difference to them, I think. Raheem Sterling is having a medical at Arsenal. Clubs are doing the documents. How detailed is that medical going to be? It feels like, have you got any broken bones currently, Raheem? No. Okay, well, you're in. They can't imagine they're going to be doing anything too thorough on that front. And I think Forest have confirmed James Ward-Prowse. I'm just going to check as we do this now. Loan signing of James Ward-Prowse. I'll just check if it's got an obligation. I don't think it does have an obligation to buy him. 921 people watching, which is fantastic. Do us a favour and hit like if you haven't already. Fothers, he can't play tomorrow because he would have had to been registered much earlier in the day. Is straight in your team, do you think, potentially Ward-Prowse for Liverpool in 2 weeks, or do we wait and see and he has to earn the shirt like anyone else?
I think he comes straight in, doesn't he? As soon as he's available. I mean, obviously, he's not signed in time for tomorrow, I believe, but I think he has to come straight in. That would be my take on it. And there's a little bit of me as well, and I know I didn't say it earlier, but there's a little bit with Marino, Alex Moreno as well. You know, players that have already played in the Premier League that know the pace of it. I think there's more to be said for them coming in than maybe some of the other guys. But yeah, I think Ward-Prowse starts as soon as he's eligible, doesn't he? Let's not forget as well. We're just looking at those 22 names there. Let's not forget Danilo as well. He's going to be a new signing come hopefully December time when he gets fit again.
Yeah, we'll have to see if when the 25-man squads are announced, whether Danilo's in it, because it runs through till January. I imagine he won't be, to free up a space, and then hopefully he's fit again around that time. I mean, the fact that we were at Temps, even a few Forest fans debating whether we should be signing James Ward-Prowse, feels kind of mad from where we were, a year ago, 2 years ago. He'd have been, behind Morgan, our second best player. Again, just a sign of progress, isn't it?
There's no question for me. That's a quality signing. It's understated. I'm delighted that we've beat off competition for that. One of the best proponents of the set piece in the Premier League. I think he's second to Beckham in direct free kicks scored. And he didn't bag one last season, but he did so much more than that. He created so many chances. He guarantees quality delivery from a corner. I think we dedicated a section to him pre-West Ham, didn't we? Just about what he adds to a side in terms of the dead ball. But all-round game is there, experience is there, needs a bit of love, and he'll be one of our main boys. Agree totally with Fothers. As soon as he's ready and available, slots straight in, knows the pace of the league, knows what he adds, has immediate responsibility in the team, senior voice in the dressing room. And I think that's just exceptional business. No obligation to buy. Yes, he'll be on a wedge, but it feels like absolute value when it's a player who's going to come in and be first 11 ready, because that's what we've called out for, isn't it? Been a bit frustrated at times in the past where lads have been added where you can't obviously see where they're going to slot into the first 11. Know exactly what we're going to get from James Ward-Prowse, and he's going to be a hit for Forest.
Yeah, that West Ham game, I think back to it, it felt like one of the nails in poor Steve Cooper's coffin, actually. That was a rocky period where we conceded goals for fun. Would we lose 3-2 to 2 games in a row or 3 games in a row? We're conceding loads of goals. So, that Ward-Prowse was a stinger back then, but I'm happy he's on board now. If people just to earlier in the chat, there's about 900 people watching. Out of curiosity, give a mark out of 10 for how we've done in this transfer window. Now it's all closed, and it looks like that's it now. So Forest finished today signing Ward-Prowse and Morata. I'm not sure if there's any striker coming. Well, I'm pretty sure there's not actually, but it'd be interesting to hear what people's take on it all is. Any final thoughts just as we begin to wrap up, Lewis? Anything you want to add? Now we've the dust is settling. 5 minutes after the window closes.
No. Like I said, I think a big thing of the likes of Ward-Prowse is that as a player, I've been in that change room. Sometimes you look, especially in that top level now, is that players will look around and see the likes of Ward-Prowse in that change room. Someone who's been there, done it, who's played in the Premier League at a very high level for a very long time. So again, to have as many of people like that in the change rooms, that know-how, that assurance of trusting people that has been at that level, it makes a massive difference. So yeah, it's just a really good time, a really good moment. Yes, I'm going to mention the striker, but that's just something I think that we should have done, but we can't have everything. I think we've just got to go now and fully behind the team. Hopefully get a good performance and result tomorrow, which takes us into this international break, which will be a massive start, and long may it continue.
I'll just flick through the numbers, read a few out. AJ 8, M Winfield 8, Jackie 9.5, Dan 9.5, Sam 9, 8.5 from others, 8.85, a 7 from Patrick, a bit harsh. Paul Morley 9.25. I did see a 4 out of 10 in there from someone. Gordon 4 out of 10. I don't. If that's serious, Gordon, I don't see that one myself. And then lots of others. Liam says a 6. I think we're better than that. Boynesy makes a good point. I mean, 8 out of 10. I go a little, maybe 8.5 or even 9, but no strikers fair. And Temps, we've still got Huang, we've still got Dennis, but if we got rid of most of the deadwood's not a good phrase for footballers. Most of the players that are out of favour.
Well, what we're going to say now in true Sky Sports News style is the window is slammed shut, but they can still go to Turkey and all these other places where the windows haven't slammed shut. So you'll still see outgoings. Don't be too concerned about that. It's a shame that those players are just so disregarded in the bomb squad, if you like. They're not going to be important, are they? It's just transactional now. Get them off the books and ready the finances for next time this all happens. But isn't it great that we're news during transfer windows now? I always had like a good bit of banter with Rob Dorset, and we at Trent Bridge became the place he'd call when the Premier League clubs turned down some ridiculous set piece. I remember him telling me he'd been told by Sky Sports News he needed to do a pancake story, but every Premier League club in the Midlands has said no, so he was ringing me. So I always used to have these slightly strange conversations with him where he's trying to tee up his work for the next day from some car park somewhere. It was never Forest car park. He was outside West Brom or Wolves or Villa or wherever. And there's very, very little interest. And now he's in our car park. So, Dorse, you won't be listening because you are literally freezing outside the main stand car park waiting for someone to bring you a cup of tea, no doubt, after a 14-hour shift. But I'm glad that we're now one of the box office sides in the Premier League when it comes to transfer windows. I'm not getting carried away. I know we're not top 10 in the playing metrics yet. But for excitement, for left field moves, and now increasingly, it has to be said, for players of proven or emerging Premier League pedigree, like Elliot Anderson, like James Ward-Prowse, we're in a really good place. And yeah, let's hope that Forest remain Rob Dorset's car park of choice for the next few windows.
I used to do press conferences when I worked at the Post, which feels like a million years ago, and it would be me if I was filling in for Paul Taylor or Sarah Clapson and Colin Fray or David Jackson, and that was it. And then I was at the most recent game against Bournemouth, and you know, the World and his wife's there. The BBC have got about 10 staff on their own just for like internet, football focus, match of the day, live producers, everything. So it's a different world. The facilities are totally different. Like walking through the tunnel, and the Peter Taylor stand looks transformed. I was sat near Evangelos Marinakis' personal palace for watching games. I'm looking forward to see what that looks like. And then we've got the Peter Taylor stand to hopefully be developed in time. And the whole, you know, the football clubs, it's changed a lot and it's changing fast. So yeah, I'm really interested to see how we go. It feels like it's been a successful window massively. This is tempting fate. I'm not worried about relegation. I just feel like we're in a better place than that, and I'm really interested to see how we go in the next 3 to 6 months into the winter window. What happens then? You know, where we are in the table and where we end up. But yeah, exciting times. Would have loved a striker, but not disappointed in the least with the window in general. Fothers, any final thoughts from you? Any final reports? You've already done a report, so any final thoughts?
Yeah, do you want me to just nip back and finish off from outside the ground? No, I mean, deadline day has been traditionally mad, hasn't it? And tonight's been, for me, it's been normal. It's been covered on Sky Sports News. How good is that people are interested in what's happening at Nottingham Forest again? Not had that for over 20 years. It's refreshing. And what I would say is that if you're down at the City Ground tomorrow, I'll be in the Trent End singing my heart out. Let's just do it. Let's just do it for the lads tomorrow, because don't underestimate how, and Lewis will tell you this, the difference that it makes when that ground is rocking. So if you are down there, let's make it rock. Let's get Wolves smashed. Let's get back into those top 4 positions so that Greg can start booking his European trip again, and bring it on. Can't wait. Cannot wait for tomorrow.
No, me neither. This will probably happen for the next couple of hours, but Armando Broja to Everton, loan with a £30 million option. That's pretty mad, because he might be injured at the moment. So they're pretty desperate. I think that's about it. Say again.
He's got some agent.
Yeah, you wouldn't have minded his agent, would you? He's done well for himself there.
Get a kind of a deal, get turned down 3 times, and still be interested, and then go straight into another one.
Yeah. Wow. Mason Holgate to West Brom on loan. Oh, I can't end on Mason Holgate to West Brom on
No, you
loan.
can't.
No, Chelsea need to sign someone quickly, I would say. Are you coming in, Temps, or are you just have you just frozen?
No, I was just going to help you out if you're struggling there. Of all the teams to watch in this window, I mean, the ongoing carnage of Chelsea's car park just, blows my mind. The single biggest loser in this thing is Ivan Toney. I just cannot get my head around giving the best years of your career to that kind of move. Surely there becomes a point where a certain level of wealth needs to be trumped by plying your trade in the
I
best
don't
possible
think Lewis
environment.
doesn't agree. Lewis doesn't agree with you. I can see you
Oh,
smiling.
I had this right, Ken. I thought this must have been debated at some point. But yeah, just such a waste. And Lou, of course, players from emerging nations who are outstanding are going to go and do that because it is the payday of all paydays. Ivan Toney's the England squad. He's one of the 3 or 4 best English strikers in the game at the minute. I just think that has to count for something. Respect the lads' choices. It's a global industry now, and respect the choice that they have to make for their family, their career, short career, and it's next level talent. But that doesn't feel like something he's going to be proud of in years' time.
Any comeback, Lou, or should we let that go?
Yeah, no. Listen, we it's the point of, like I've said before. I don't think he had as many options that he thought he would have. I think his options to stay in what he wanted to do is stay in England and go to one of the top 6. And I think this time last year he had a lot of options there, but I think they're not there. I know there was the thing about Chelsea, but again, they're just all over the place at the minute. And I think especially with Ivan, is what you have to understand is that he's in the England squad. He's been in the Premier League, but he hasn't been in the Premier League his whole career. He's come from the lower league. So I think it's very hard when maybe an opportunity in a club that you want to go to is not there. And I think we can all have an idea of what clubs we want to play for. But I think when that money and that contract is put in front of you, I think it's not just yourself you got to think about. Unfortunately, as he gets older, like I said, I'm sure he's got kids and families, is that they're a strong part of it. And I think that when you reach a certain age in your career, unfortunately, you can't just think about yourself and think about that selfish move. And he's got to do what's the best for him, but also the people around him. And I think, again, when that opportunity and that contract's put in front of you, I don't think there's a lot of people that would turn it down. And that's just the reality. I think we can all sit here and say that they would and they wouldn't. But I think when you're sitting at that table with that in front of you, I think the pen's going in your hand.
I'll tell you what, I agree with you both, and I can see both sides. But let's be honest, anywhere's better than Brentford, isn't it? I mean, there's only one way to go from Brentford, and that's up, isn't it? Wherever you go.
Well, that clip's going to haunt him, Matt.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, Potters has been there when Temps is laying down that contract in front of him. Come join me at Trent Bridge. Look at these numbers. You can't say no to that.
It was the NAV contract that I looked like I wasn't going to get for a while, wasn't it?
and just on like Tony and them kind of Saudi moves, I think when we're discussing and footballers at that level, they earn substantial amount of money anyway. But I think when you're talking at that level, I think the way they look at it is that they can then, with them kind of moves, it provides generational wealth. And I think that's a big thing, is that if you can provide that for your kids, for your grandkids and stuff like that, I think that's a completely different story when that comes. I understand that they earn substantial amounts of money now, but when you can put something in place for your children and their children and get that generational, I think it's an opportunity that very many parents of such will struggle to turn down.
James is asking in the chat about, is the loan window open any later? No, it's not, but you can sign players on freeze, and we can. Like Tam said, the Turkish window hasn't opened, so we can get rid of players, but we can't go and bring in a loan or anything like that. This is our squad now, unless we sign Memphis Depay or Anthony Martial or something like that on a free, which is something we'll monitor, certainly, that striker market, and the owner's ambition and pull might tempt Forest into that. So that's certainly something to watch. Right, I think we'll leave it there. I can't believe I scrambled to research Conrad Harder, who I'd never heard of 2 hours ago, but it looks like he's not signing and no one else is signing as a striker, but the business is done. We've got Wolves tomorrow. We'll be back post-match to discuss that in full, usual post-match show, and then back to business on Monday. We'll reflect on all this a bit more, look ahead to the rest of the season as we head into the international break. So if you are one of the 730 people who have been with us now, and if you've been with us for 2 hours, 17 minutes and the phone in we did earlier, I'm very, very grateful to you. But just in general, people, do us a favor, hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, give us a lovely review on iTunes, do consider becoming a channel member, do come and see Lewis and the others at the live show next Thursday. It'd be great to see you. Tickets are still on sale now. I'm probably going to go and have a little lie down and panic that we announce a signing as soon as we finish, but I don't think we will. Michael Temple, thank you very much.
Cheers, fellas. Sorry about the audio issues. Yeah, questionable Wi-Fi in Menorca at this moment in time, but yeah, great to listen in earlier. Great to speak to you all. Thanks for the insight, Lou. And yeah, hopefully you boys are going nowhere. Another season locked in at Forest Focus with Davies.
Absolutely. I hope so. Yeah, good to have you with us from your Spanish palace. Fothers, what a hero. What can I say? Going down the ground at 9:30, live reporting, a la Sky Sports News, straight back on at 10 o'clock. You're a hero. Thank you very much.
No, you're the hero, Matt, for giving me the opportunity to stand outside the City Ground and say Simon Fotheringham News at 10. I forgot to say the world famous City Ground, but I should have. Just before we do go, though, don't forget 12 o'clock tomorrow at lunchtime in the Nav for the pre-match. And if you've not enjoyed tonight, then don't bother. But it's good fun. Come down.
Doing his own plugs now. Very good. Very good. Right. Lewis McGugan, you've been with us for 2 hours plus. You've been giving me great wisdom on WhatsApp this week as well, which I've enjoyed around the transfer stuff. So you're another hero of this podcast. Thank you very much.
No problem. My pleasure.
You're a good man. You're all good, man. Very much enjoyed this. Thanks for everyone for being with us. Do hit like and subscribe, as Peter says. We'll leave it on that note, and not Mason Holgate. Well, now I've said Mason Holgate. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mason Holgate. Good luck at West Brom. Have a good weekend, and we shall see you soon.